What's up, brothers? Hope everybody's doing well out there. Wanted to come out here and shoot the shit with you guys for a little while this evening. And the topic of tonight's video is, when a woman likes you, she'll do all the work. And this is going to be a little bit of a truth pill, because I understand a lot of viewers in the manosphere, and actually a lot of dating coaches are actually unaware of this as well. A lot of guys are under the impression that typically it's a man's job to approach a woman. It's a man's job to make a move. That's the masculine role, and that's just the way things are supposed to go. But in reality, that's just usually not the way it works. And I'll do my best in this video to explain the way these intersexual dynamics actually work. Now, let me start by saying, when a girl likes you, when a woman likes you, she'll slide in your DMs. She may have her friend walk over and slide you her phone number. She might leave notes on your car. Women are very adamant about making moves on men that they actually like. It's just the way things go. And it just can't work out the other way. If you were to leave a note on a woman's car, she might report you for stalking. Let's face it, these dynamics don't work both ways. If you're a dude that's running around approaching women, sliding in their DMs constantly, showing up at their job or leaving notes on their car, you're going to look like a stalker. That's just the way the world is shaped nowadays. And maybe Me Too and all of this, all this feminism and all this shit has played a role in it, but that's just the culture that we live in this day and age. And women are very aggressive when they have a man that they like and that they want to be with. Now, I'll explain the way this works, and we'll explain a few different scenarios. Imagine you are at a job where there's both men and women there. And a lot of people say don't date women at work, and that's fine if you don't want to. I'm just using this as an example. Well, in this environment, there are going to be we'll call them attachment bonds. Two attachment bonds that will cause a woman to like you and be attached to you. One attachment bond has to do with respect, and the other attachment bond has to do with lust. So there's going to be a select small group of men in that workplace that have powerful or positions of influence. Okay, they're bosses. They're your bosses. And these men get a woman's respect. Like, women are submissive to these men. They behave a certain way with these men, right? And most companies have to put rules in place to block the bosses from dating the girls in the workplace, because it's bound to happen. They have to put rules in place to where the boss will get fired if he does it. And in a lot of cases, let's be honest, men in positions of power abuse that power, and they do hook up with the women in the workplace, right? So that is the respect attachment bond. Women see a man that is, like, their hypergamy kicks in, right? They see a man who's in a powerful position. As long as he's not obese or elderly, usually these guys can take their pick. Let's be honest. And women are adamant about making moves on these type of men. It just happens. Now, attachment bond number 2 is the lust attachment bond. So in that same workplace, you're going to have a few studs, right? Good looking, physically fit, handsome as hell guys. Or maybe it's not their looks, maybe it's their charisma, or there's like something about them. But these are the studs. And women are going to attach to them with lust, right? They're going to give them googly eyes. They're going to want to hook up with them and have sex with them. Now, these two groups of men make up for a pretty small category, pretty small sample size. And then you have the majority of men underneath them. These men underneath, that's the cold approach. That's the shit tests. These are the guys that are applying strategy and game and all this shit, right? Seduction tactics. They're trying their best to make something happen. But really, they are, they're cold approaching, they're making moves because they're not getting chosen. The men that get the woman's respect, the men that get the woman's lust, right? The men that turn women on, these guys don't have to cold approach. They just don't. They get notes on their car. Women find out their names and slide in their DMs. They have their friends hand them the phone number. Women are fairly aggressive when it comes to going after this type of guy. And it's something you can't escape. I'll put it like that. It doesn't have to be in the workplace. It can be at the gym. You're going to have the same thing. There's going to be a dude that pulls up in a Ferrari. Then there's going to be some studs in the gym. It's always going to be there. At a nightclub, there's going to be some dudes buying the bar, right? High status men. Then there's going to be some handsome, charismatic guys, right? And these guys don't have to cold approach. Women flock to them. You can try to escape it in the church, but you're going to walk into the church, which is just a 501c3 nonprofit organization, which is a business, by the way. So you're going to walk in there and you're going to have people up on stage, right? Dudes in the band, maybe a pastor. You're going to have high rollers in the church. And then you're going to have handsome, charismatic men. You can't escape it. Everywhere you go, it's going to be the same issue. And it's something you're not going to be able to avoid. This is just the way that women choose. And through my 37 years, had to think about that one for a second, on this earth, whether it be myself or any of my friends in our teens, 20s, 30s, I've always seen this to hold true. I can't think of a single time when I've known a guy that has turned a cold approach into a long-term relationship. Almost every time, the way the relationship starts is, the woman is attracted to the man and she makes her move. She does her best to make things happen, makes it as easy for him as possible, and then they get together. Typically, if you're the man that's trying to seduce the woman, if you're playing that feminine role where you're just trying your best to make her like you, you could actually be an attractive man, a handsome man, or a high status man. But when you're behaving like that, your value can actually drop. She might start to view you as like unstable. Like, did this dude really just leave a fucking note on her car? And she'll like report you or some shit like that. I've seen that happen many times. Now, people out there can disagree with this, but the fact of the matter is it's still going to hold true. It's still going to hold true. And if you're not in one of those categories, the man that women look up to and respect, or the man that women view as, a sex symbol that they want to hook up with and, get freaky with, if you're not in that category, you're going to fall in that cold approach, validation bro, bottom level where, you're confused. You're like, why are women so complex? Why are women so confusing? They're so hard to figure out what's going on here. They're so difficult. In reality, the reason why you had to cold approach her, the reason why you had to pursue or you had to chase her and you had to try to seduce her is because her mind was on another man. And that's a man whose DMs she was sliding in, whose car she was leaving notes on, who she slid her phone number to, who she was making moves on, but he's just too damn busy, or he's got too many girls, for him to even get to her. And that's a fact of the matter. That's just an absolute fact. Do you guys watch dating shit on YouTube? Melly Mono? She spent several years giving dating advice to average dudes that need dating advice. average dudes that probably don't fit in either one of those two categories. And all of these guys are, they're simping like hell for her. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with what she's doing. She's got a business she's running and, whatever. This is just a good example of what I'm trying to tell you guys. So she's been given dating advice for several years on YouTube, and she's got all these dudes, a lot of them are simps, just idolizing her. And wow, I'm learning so much from you. Thanks for giving us this amazing insight on the way women think. And then what's she do? She turns around and uses her clout and her money to become introduced to an NBA basketball player. And now she's dating an NBA basketball player. So all these simps that are like, man, if I just learn game, if I just do what she tells me to do, it's going to work. What's she do? She finds a man in a powerful position who she is lusting after. He's got it both, right? He's handsome, he's charismatic, and he's rich. He's got it all. So she just abandons all those simps, all those millions of simps that follow her, and gets with this high roller. And, this shit just happens all the time. It's the way intersexual dynamics work, and it's unavoidable. And I guarantee you, Gilbert Arenas wasn't, reaching out to her and cold approaching her and making moves on her. And that's just one example. In the real world, even if you're not famous, you'll still see this hold true time and time again. It's always held true in my life and, with any of my close friends. It's just always the way it is. Now, what's the solution? You can choose. There's a couple of paths that you can choose here. One path would be you can learn game, learn how to cold approach, learn how to pass shit tests, all of that shit. If that's what you want to do, go for it. Or you can focus on, first of all, the first path, the respect attachment bond, as we were talking about. You can compete with other men in the world, climb hierarchies, get, whether that be getting your college degree and climbing up the ladder in, like a business executive type environment, whether that be starting your own business or, turning one of your hobbies into an operation that makes a lot of money. I don't know. There's a lot of things you can do nowadays. Develop skills, that can... Memory card got full. I had to change that out. I don't remember where I left off. I think I was talking about, you can develop skills. You can become the respectable man, in which case this will open up doors. Women will start reaching out to you. Women will start trying to get with you. In this situation, you got to have some game, because women will try to use you for your money and your status. They might try to get pregnant, take your seed and make some money off of you. Who knows? You got to have some game and you got to have a vetting process. But every man, regardless of what you look like, should be attempting that. And it's not just about the women, it's about respect in society from your fellow men. You don't want to be a loser. You definitely want to do that. And you would make a lot better use of your time if you're working on yourself and developing skills rather than, cold approaching and shit. That's such a useless skill. If you're a man that's getting chosen, cold approach is a useless skill. There's not a high-value man in the world that's worried about cold approaching. It's just not a thing. In terms of making women lust for you, having a mouthpiece is a good thing. Being confident is a good thing. Having a good physique is a really good thing. But most of that is genetic. If you're not a woman's type, you're just not going to be her type. Even if you're jacked, you're fit, you're funny, whatever. If you're not her type, you're not going to be her type. So obviously be the best version of yourself, but, accept the outcomes. You're not going to be everybody's type. And that's really all there is to it. You know, all of this other stuff, if you're not physically attractive to women, if they don't find you sexually attractive, or if they don't view you as like a powerful and influential figure that they respect and they admire and they look up to, if you don't have one of those two or both of those two, I think you're wasting your time. And if you're cold approaching and, you know, practicing all these fucking strategies and shit that most dating coaches teach you, that's probably where you're at. You know, confused. Was that a shit test? No, it wasn't a shit test, dude. That was not a shit test. She just doesn't like you that much. Okay? She's not pretending like she wants to screw that other guy. She's not trying to make you jealous. She's not pretending like she's respecting her boss or submitting to her boss or cheating on you with her boss. She's not pretending. She's not trying to make you jealous. It's actually happening. Okay? And that's the cold hard truth. Unless you become that guy, you're always going to face that problem. You know, dating coaches, a lot of them sell you this dream that you can be this loser with no money, doesn't matter what you look like, you know, no status, and just learn game, have a good mouthpiece, and shit's just going to work out. That is a terrible game plan. Flat out terrible. Even if it does get you laid, because cold approach can get you laid. If you go to Miami, if you go to Vegas on vacation, yeah, cold approach. Cold approach your ass off. But that's a one-time hookup. You know, if you're looking for any type of meaningful long-term relationship, which most of you guys are, it's a useless skill. You know, spend your time developing yourself as a human being, and that's when you'll get a lot better results. But hey guys, guess I'm gonna go ahead and shut this one off. I hope this conversation was somewhat informative. But that's about it for today, guys. Until next time, see ya.
Subscribe to the channel.
Oh, fuck yeah.